Doing what you love and making a shit ton of money is a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Let's all do that.
What's it like growing up as a triplet? Are you guys competitive? Tell me about ayahuasca.
This is actually important to talk about. I've never talked about it. The decision to make ayahuasca is a unique one. Now, it doesn't matter how wealthy you are. If you treat people badly, I'm not gonna work with you, like, period. The stakes are always so high. It's like, I do one little thing, I smile wrong, someone gets pissed, I lose hundreds of thousands of dollars easily. So I get the x-ray back and the SCAT scan and the MRI. They go, hey, you got a broken neck.
What? All right, without further ado, I would like to introduce everyone to one of my closest friends, Bryant Wood. Among many other things, he is a great human, but also maybe known most to the world currently as a master breathwork instructor, coach, just incredible. He's inspired hundreds of thousands of people all over the world to not only meditate, but physically breathe, which is the number one most important thing you could do. Like, you don't need to drink water as much as you need to breathe. And it's really important if you think about it. And you've inspired so many people to heal all over the world, teaching courses and seminars. And I think it's a really noble thing to do, to help people in that way. So welcome to Extraordinary.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And Teague, it's a pleasure to meet you, my friend.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I hear you guys have known each other for 10 years.
Yeah. And, you know, the interesting thing about Spence is he's probably changed the least out of our friend group. Stro and I have evolved tremendously. And like, I look back and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that we've evolved so much because we've had Spence as a friend.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was like, and he just means the world to me. So it's cool to be a part of this because he, you know, and I'm excited to get to know you better. He's one of the most extraordinary people that I've ever met for many reasons.
I think we're all extraordinary, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
So you talked a little bit about breathwork. You've trained over 100,000 people. How is that even possible?
Online.
Good old internet.
Yeah, pretty easy.
There's this thing called the intraweb.
Yeah.
And nowadays they have, and this is good for everybody listening, if they're providers of information that they feel like can benefit the world, is you can go into AI and upload all your courses, your books, and change the language. So we can begin to offer, you know, this information for free for people in the world that could benefit the most.
That don't know English, you know? It's like, you know.
And I look kind of cute with the Japanese dub.
The Japanese dub.
Arigato.
Yeah. Totally. I just learned what arigato meant.
There we go.
Yeah, first time to Japan over New Year's.
Tell us about it. What happened there?
Dude, Japan was sweet. I've been meaning to go there for a really long time, but I only like to travel to places when I have a purpose to go there. So Japan was top of my list, but I didn't really have a reason to go there. And then I finally decided that I was going to go there for the Olympics. And then COVID hit and canceled the Olympics in Japan. Mm-hmm. It got delayed a year, but then when they had it, whenever that was, like 2021, I think, or maybe 2022, there were no spectators. So my Japan plans got delayed. And then this New Year's, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go make a trip out of this. We went to Tokyo for a week. And then we went down to Kyoto for a little bit and saw like the ancient historical palaces and stuff. And then we went up to Niseko and skied. And the powder in Japan is next level.
Wow, that is some bougie.
Yeah, that is some next level.
But great food. The sushi and the Kobe beef and the Wagyu is just on point.
I wanted to go to the Shibari bars there. Where it's just like this one master, you know, rope tire in a corner, and there's only like 3 people drinking like, you know, sake, watching him do some cool scene, you know. But anyways, I have a question for this because I think it's interesting, and I'm sure Spence and shout out to Stro for filming this today.
Let's go.
Let's go, Stro.
Behind the scenes.
He's the reason why a lot of our stories are told, you know, because his ability to create and make us look fucking good.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
All good.
We're good.
Is every single place in the world we've been invited to as influencers or people with following, you know, I use it very lightly. Companies value that tremendously. And some value it more than others. And eventually we get, you know, invited to the Bahamas, to Italy, to London, to, you know, everywhere, except for Japan.
They don't care over there.
No one from Japan hits us up. Never once was there even like a spam ad about Japan. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm excited you got to experience it.
But I mean, so you've mastered breathwork and you've built a huge following. You have almost 500,000 followers on Instagram. Do you have other social platforms with big followings? How'd you do that based on breathwork and meditation?
I mean, I've probably half of my followers is based off of breathwork and meditation. I can go deep on, you know, how I got the other half. And also I've had at one point 500,000 more followers than what I have right now.
Really?
Yeah. So it's kind of this influx, but everyone that follows me now follows me for the identity that I have right now.
Okay.
Right.
Which
what I'm
is?
portraying to the world, you know, what I'm focusing on. I wouldn't use the word master breathwork instructor. Even expert is just like tremendously hard to comprehend, because the thing about spending 10,000 hours, 20,000 hours on something is you realize how much you actually don't know. And the same piece of information you come across as with breathwork is that you're only an expert or a master if you've mastered every single breath from this moment on for the rest of your life. And you have that perfect breath, that texture. It's called coherent breath. And there's times where I'm home, or even with Spence and Stro, where like the amount of excitement that's bursting through my body is definitely not balanced. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever, or sadness.
Always learning. Yeah.
Always learning.
Always
Anyways.
learning.
And fun fact about breathwork is Spence was a huge reason why I got into it like 9 years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
He was doing this stuff before anybody was doing it.
OG.
Who are you? Were you following Wim Hof, or like that's the only breathwork guru that I know?
Yeah, I fell into Wim Hof like shortly after that. I've always heard about him, but you know, it was actually in like private life in Los Angeles. You know, there were some seminars and some people that just invited me to essentially a guy's house that was doing these underground breath work. Instead of a yoga class for an hour, he would just put, you know, maybe 20, 30 people through breath work. And I would just literally go to these sessions and breathe for over an hour. And then if you get into it and you're in your flow state, it'll feel like 10 minutes. Really wild.
I mean, this is an honest learning episode for me. Like I did a little bit of Wim Hof, and he has the power breath for 50 breaths and then hold your breath. And I held my breath. I got my record was 3 minutes and 25 seconds or so. I don't know if that's good, but like,
great.
It's all good. It's all good.
Do you teach me, dude? What is breathwork about? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Or like, what's like?
So we interviewed 1,000 people in this study, and we were asking them like, okay, what do you think breathwork and meditation can benefit you for primarily? Anybody that didn't have more than a year of experience with breathwork or meditation, they said the same thing. To navigate my emotions, my nervous system, the stress in my life, the fact that I can't afford rent, so I feel unsafe, the fact that this is happening and I don't feel safe. Everybody that's been doing breath work or meditation for more than a year, their main intention with doing more breath work and meditation was for spiritual enlightenment. So it's fascinating to see the complete shift in perspective in humanity when they actually decide to put the work in. Those Maslow hierarchy of needs, those basic needs get solved, and then they get to focus on what God means to them. And that's really cool to me, working on the testing.
100%.
Anyways, so I'm going to
Profanity is allowed on XTRAordinary.
Is it? I should be.
It is.
Like, we're fucking just doing our best
profanity.
here.
Whoa, you don't have to just jump in. You're like, we could fucking curse.
Every other word is F-bomb.
That's exactly how I talk to God sometimes. So we're on the same page here. So anyways, so I'm gonna share it with the assumption that this information can most benefit people that haven't done any breathwork or meditation. Okay.
Fair.
Yeah.
So the fundamentals.
Like me.
For Teague.
Exactly.
Yeah.
From fucking Teague. Let's go. For freaking Teague. Okay. So fundamentally, there's 3 types of breathwork. Okay. There's activating, grounding, and then coherent breath, which is the perfect breath that we should all know how to do right now for the rest of our lives, because it's proven scientifically to help us reach optimal health and well-being. Okay.
Nice.
And when you say proven scientifically, are we talking about like firing synapses in our brain, or like releasing, like, what do you mean proven scientifically?
Mind-heart coherence. So if you think of like why all of these, let's say gurus or swamis or lamas say like find balance,
Right.
There's a reason for that, right? Because you're not too stressed out, you're not getting things done, and your body's able to adapt with balance to any circumstance, so the circumstance itself doesn't throw you off balance.
Yep.
That's important, right? Stress is the number one killer ever,
Yeah.
Inflammation, et cetera. We can go deep on that. But with balance, if you look on just a fundamental level, what are the three things that we can control in our experience right now? Breathing, our physical posture, right? I'm not doing a good job of it because I'd rather be a creature.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're all human here.
He's way more a creature than me. And then the third thing is awareness. Where are we focusing our mind? Where is our awareness focused? If it's non-local, it can be in
100%.
anything. It's connected to everything. Well, I have a faculty of focus that releases chemicals into my brain that then gets traveled out through my body to create an emotional state. Everything's interconnected here. So knowing we only have those three mechanisms to do what? To master our energy. Our energy has also been scientifically proven to manifest our entire reality. And give you examples of that. Realizing that me forcing my will into the world is one of the least productive things we can do, and instead going internally and shifting and alchemizing and transmuting and here are the key words: accepting and letting go, so the energy can rise. This is how you restructure all of your health stuff. And we can go deep into that too. Obviously, you physically manifest, you have to do other things. All your money stuff, all your relationship, everything, you get connected to God, you're fucking overflowing with joy. What naturally appears when we're doing these practices is so much love. You didn't know me at this stage, but I was a dick in high school.
Yeah?
I was such a dick.
Why?
You can't even no one would believe me.
Yeah.
I can't even comprehend it. I'm like, I was in my own little psychological war with other kids.
What did you do that made you think you were a dick?
It was different times back then.
Yeah.
Things were way more socially
Brian's been on a
acceptable.
journey, yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
NorCal.
Okay.
Chico.
Okay.
Yeah. So
NorCal dick.
He was also a D1 wrestler.
D1 wrestling. I had to.
Really?
I had to take care of
Incredible
my
wrestler.
mom.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, but before we get to wrestling,
Also,
fundamentals.
Also, really quickly, I'd like to add that for people that might really not understand breathwork on a more surface level thing, it's okay to not understand something, but also realize that there are a lot of benefits to it that you might not understand. For instance, my buddy, Navy SEAL, he says that they do breath work exercises in the Navy SEALs. And if you're gonna be out there and pretend that the Navy SEALs are doing anything with their time that is not proven to be effective, then you're on a different planet. Because those guys mean business, and they're not gonna waste their time. So it's like, there's no mumbo jump, like, it's real and it's happening. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it isn't real. And especially if the Navy SEALs are doing it as part of their regimen, it's like impactful and it's real. And after you do it, you can feel the difference. So you have to experience.
It's such a good thing to say.
Right? Yeah,
They've weeded out every most productive thing in the world, and this is what I choose.
This is what they're doing. They're not wasting their time,
So you said there's three types. There's grounding, coherent. What was the third?
And activating. Okay.
So what are the differences in those three?
I'll go into it quickly. So activating, let's think of it sympathetic base. So when I breathe this way, I get activated. My heart rate begins to speed up. Blood goes to my extremities, et cetera, et cetera. There's a reason why we want to use that. Simultaneously, grounding, think parasympathetic, which is the part of your nervous system that's the rest, reset, digest, calms you down. It's how you recover. And also PTSD has been proven to be tremendously affected by if you're able to put someone into their parasympathetic. So without drugs, anything.
You want to do parasympathetic to combat PTSD?
Totally.
Okay.
So here's the caveat. When I'm in what's called hyperarousal, which is a heightened state of anxiety, let's say, or manicness, right? I'm sure all of us have gotten to a point of that. That's outside of my window of tolerance. So outside of my optimal state of arousal. The first thing you're gonna not do is guide the breath, because your mind's in so much chaos, it doesn't know how to take a suggestion that from a place it's not attacking you, right? So you ask this first. You go, hey, you're like, Teague, hi,
Hi.
It's just, hi. Imagine you're just going through it. You're like, hey, do you need a hug? Do you need water? Do you need food? Do you need some sleep? Like, is there anything that your body needs? Right. And then you answer honestly, and typically most anxiety can be healed with a glass of water.
Yeah.
Salt, boom, chug it back, begin to calm down. Then once you realize your body's safe, the frontal cortex chills out, oh, my physical body's safe. I'm aware that my physical body's safe. Then you guide the breath for yourself or the other person that you need. And then the breath works very simple and it makes complete sense. You exhale everything out through your mouth first. Get it out, right? You inhale through the nose, up through your feet. Right, open up the heart a little bit and exhale as slow as you can through pursed lips. Sink into your chair.
I immediately feel better.
Yeah.
It's like
For real.
Any anxiety we just came in here with too.
You know what another beautiful thing about breath work is, everyone could benefit from meditation, right? But to get good at meditation, it's like, how do you do that? So it's like, how do you stop thinking about something if you can't do that?
Yeah.
Breath work is an action that you can do and you can feel immediately. It could, for some people might be natural at meditating and some people might be naturally really good at it. Or some people, it might take forever or years of practice to be able to sit down and not think about something. But everyone could say, breathe in, hold, breathe out, and it's something you can just do. And then once you do it, you immediately feel the benefits the next minute.
Dude, you know what I think is so cool is that you've built a huge following on breathwork, 500,000 followers on Instagram, doing what you love. How much money do you make on something like this? Like the fact that you're doing your passion, what you love, and making a living.
This is actually important to talk about. I've never talked about it. This is great, dude. The reason why, doing what you love and making a shit ton of money is a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Let's all do that.
Right?
The whole world would be completely different if we figured that out. We also have a tremendous amount of people that aren't doing what they love and still not making money. And we have people that are doing what they love and not making money either, right? What I realized, and this is about 2 years after I left kind of Hollywood. Remember, I went on like a walkabout. I just no one heard from me for years.
Were you wearing shoes?
No, for sure not.
shoes.
That was the first thing that went. Yeah. I gave away all my belongings. I was just
Really?
Nothing.
nothing.
He gave away his bed. He was just sleeping on nothing.
No shit, dude.
Yeah, like a wood.
I got to hear that story. But
His
let's
bed
talk
was
about
he turned his bed into a wood plank, and he was just sleeping on a 2x4. It was like really went in.
Yeah.
It's nice though.
I saw it in a
Found
movie. I was like,
yourself.
well, I got to
It's
figure
nice
this out.
to detach.
Totally.
I look around my place and I'm like, I've got all these things, but why? I don't really care about any of this stuff. You
Yeah.
know?
No, but I just care zero.
Yeah.
There's not, anyways. So anyways, talking about money because it's important. So let's say that everybody, this is tough. Everybody can do what they love. Even when you're in a work environment, having to do the thing that you're doing, you can be someone that you love and you can make it something that you decide to love. And let's say you deciding to love that will shift you in doing something eventually that you are really a fuck yes to. With me, after leaving for 2 years, I studied, got like 5 certifications, was with Buddhist sanghas and, naked in the forest for months, whatever I was doing. I really don't remember. I just remember getting poison oak really severely. Yeah. And I was like, I should teach people I should help people with this.
Right.
Why not? And then I was like, I got an opportunity to speak and it's like my first time speaking. And I was like, this is kind of nerve wracking, And then I offered my skill set like for a year, every week for like $5 or something, or for free. I taught everybody, man.
Start small.
I went to like memory home, people with dementia, and worked on their memory. Like I went to little kids. I went to, every sexual orientation because I thought it was fascinating. Like let's breathe together, And but I was like, I gotta survive. I was like, this is like tough to survive. I'm making like $1,000 a year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But this was in the beginning. This was in the beginning.
And also I was unattached to money.
Yeah.
I gave zero shits about money.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
But you also get to heal that. It peels back the layers.
Right.
So I remember dating this girl and I was like, okay, she's pretty wealthy. And like a part of me really desires to pay for everything because that's how I've been told is an important thing to do if you're a guy. Like, and
sure.
We can talk about that conditioning too.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me figure out this money situation. So I bought this book called Busting Loose from the Money Game.
All right.
It's the Grimoire of
Busting
Magic.
Loose from the Money Game. I'll put that on the list.
Grimoire of Magic. And I read it immediately. And this is while I was filming in the UK for the Netflix show, The Circle. So I had downtime, right? It was a week. just started dating this girl. Reading this book. Immediately after I'm done, it explained to me the holographic universe from a scientific perspective, made complete sense, and then explained manifestation and reality creation from an emotional perspective. And I'm telling you, there's no man more motivated than a broke fucking man trying to impress a woman. Yeah. So I was like, sure. So I was like, let me do these practices. Let me really lean into it. Let me shift my reality around wealth and see what happens, right? The next 2 days after really putting my mind into the practice that the book presented, I manifested $50,000 out of thin air.
How the fuck do you do that?
So 50x my last year's income.
Let's go.
Right?
How do you do that?
Shifting my relationship to the emotional experience of money.
Right.
And the book goes into greater detail. I'm happy to elaborate on it. The story's kind of funny though. So the year after that, I started Modern Nirvana with two of the other co-founders.
Yeah, I want to get to Modern Nirvana. Yeah,
really?
Tell me about that.
Well, we shut it down, so there's a whole thing. We haven't talked about this either.
Okay.
It's very intense life, very theatrical life.
Yeah, a lot of it's roller coaster.
I have to tell you both something. I haven't told anybody this, so I'm excited to tell you after this, or in this eventually as like a surprise for this.
Let's go.
So pedal to the metal for wealth. There's energetics to wealth. And I was like one of the, for my industry, which is honestly, there's not a lot of really wealthy people in it. The coaching industry is $1 billion industry. So as soon as I found out, I was like, oh, I got to start an app. Like,
right,
you know what I mean? Like there's only $1 billion for every coach.
For everyone.
Like, you know what I mean? So anyways, I was like probably one of the top earners when I really focused on money for that year and the next year in my industry, on top of never taking any money out of my last company, but also making a good portion of money there too. So, you know, and it's not a lot of money. People are crushing it, like $30,000, $40,000 a month.
Yeah.
For just teaching breathwork though, you know.
Yeah, for breathing.
Yeah. So that was cool and it felt really good.
So do you have classes on the app and like different stages?
So have you guys tried School?
Is that an app?
Yeah.
School is an app that they came out with last year.
Yeah.
And
I saw Hormozy is a big investor in it.
I just found that out. That guy's fascinating, obviously.
Yeah.
You sign up, it's $100 a month, and you pretty much have a place to upload courses, to create subscriptions for people, and it's like seamless.
They make $100 a month. That's pretty good.
And I happily would pay that because the amount of websites and funnel systems I would need to do to get that level of infrastructure is just ridiculous. So I just started that 2 days ago, and I meet every Wednesday as a live course.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do something more consistent. It's actually a breathwork manifestation kind of group.
So you're on School as a creator. School is the platform app.
School's the
and
platform.
you meet once a week to like with people that are on the app for your breathwork.
I just started that yesterday.
Okay. Cool.
This is the only consistent thing I'm doing. Other than that, like certification courses, speaking around the world, you know, live events, that kind of thing too.
Nice.
He's also a breathwork instructor for breathwork instructors.
Right.
You know,
you get caught up in that. It's fucking ridiculous because you're like, oh, I could affect more lives by, you know, teaching people how to teach.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
And then it's like you got to help the people that don't want to be teachers. They need it more.
But it's also important. I think you gotta don't underestimate the value that you as an individual have in the world, especially if you're doing something like that. You're helping other people. And the ripple effect is real. You make one person's day better. They go around their day and smile at someone because of how they were affected. And that person are just connected. And it's like, it's such a positive impact that I think you're doing. So
yeah, it's
important. It's an important mission.
Endless comments, endless positivity, so much appreciation from thousands of people all the time. It doesn't really affect me or have any meaning to me, to be honest.
So you've spoken
because it's not me, it's them, and it's like that's like me as an instructor is the most important piece to it. If that makes sense.
So you've gone around the world now speaking about breathwork. Where that's wild. Where are some of the places you've gone? Like what's the speaking circuit look like? Oh man, the speaking circuit's a blast, especially when you're a breathwork instructor. Because I remember after like 10 minutes of speaking, I would just the crowd would glaze over. Right? Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, like, they don't really care. But then I'm like, all right, exhale all your breath from your body and breathe in the fucking universe into your eyes, you know? And they're like, they're like, let it out, you know? And then everyone thinks you're a fucking incredible speaker. Yeah. So I took the energy around my breathwork and then learned how to communicate that with my words. And now I'm like a potent speaker. Cool. But it took me a while to figure it out. Yeah.
everywhere. So like there's the biohacking conference. I teach at Ayahuasca Center called Rhythmia in Costa Rica. I was in Wales.
So you've done ayahuasca before?
Guatemala.
Have you done ayahuasca?
I haven't.
Me neither.
No, you haven't?
No, tell me about ayahuasca.
Yeah, 46 times.
46 times?
Let's go. That's got to be a record.
Holy shit.
I have a friend that's
Are you like a shaman now, or?
Breathwork is shamanism. It's very similar to ayahuasca.
Do you lead ayahuasca retreats, or you're part of them?
I'll teach the breathwork portion to the ayahuasca retreat. The people that are in the ceremonies, they're moving a lot of energy. It takes a life of devotion for that. Yeah.
Okay. But wait, let's go deep on ayahuasca for a minute. So, obviously,
for sure,
I've never done it. I want to know, like, tell me, like,
how would you describe it for someone that's like, obviously it seems like a demonstrable thing. You have to do it to really understand.
Yeah.
It's like, describe why this is, no, you can't, but I really know nothing about it other than people are always talking about it.
So in my senior year of high school, I took a chemistry class, and they were explaining all the different drugs in the world and what it did to you. And I never did anything at that point, and I still didn't do any drugs till like 21 or something like that. Medicines, excuse me.
Yeah, medicines.
But drugs, right?
Yeah.
So I remember looking at DMT, which is the chemical in ayahuasca, and I was like, I would never, ever do that. There's no chance I would
DMT is also the chemical in acid, right? Or am
I don't know much about
acid. It's the chemical that your brain produces to give you, for dreams.
And sex and death.
Oh, wow.
Interesting, yeah.
So anyways, needless to say, I did it for the first time, and it kept me coming back because of the sincerity of the experience, where you really are facing and working through in a hyper intelligent way all of your karma and triggers and trauma. And for someone like me that's devoted to showing up better in the world and honestly had behaviors that were pretty less productive, I think I did really benefit from that route, because it's such a fucking fierce force of purification. And it's also an incredibly loving force if you're meant to experience that in that moment, which was also extremely healing for me. I honestly my mom would call me on the phone, and Spence and I have been blessed with some of the best mothers on the planet, period. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I was really into, business, when I was like my early 20s, I was an executive at AI company.
Really?
I couldn't even talk to my mom on the phone because I thought she was wasting my time.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
And she's the sweetest, that's
your mom.
I know. Trust me.
Yeah.
First time doing ayahuasca, I called her the next day. I was like, I'm so sorry, my beautiful little mother.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, which is the important piece to this story, I always made time for her on the phone. I always flew out and saw her during the time she'd need me or family things. And it completely restructured my relationship with family in that one session.
I'm going to see my mom right after this.
Oh, that's the best. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Before I'd be like, you fucking
wasting time.
Yeah, exactly.
But your beautiful mother.
My mom's meeting my girlfriend for the first time tonight.
Oh, that's a big moment.
How does that feel for you?
I don't know. I'm good. I think she's a little nervous.
That's great.
Oh, that's amazing.
We'll see. Yeah, it's dinner for the first time.
Okay.
I feel like you might have just inspired a lot of people to try ayahuasca that might be dealing with some family stuff.
This is important to talk about.
Yeah.
And well, I don't want to talk too much because I have a lot of questions for Spence.
No, you're good. Absolutely.
The decision to make ayahuasca is a unique one. And I think discovering how to navigate that is even a part of the ayahuasca experience. You follow me? You follow me?
Kinda. I hear this car alarm.
Yeah, that's the last time we shoot in Hollywood.
Dude?
For sure, there's an armed robbery outside.
There's no one more mad than
I hope
Stro.
the car alarm isn't fucking.
We gotta hold for ambulance. I don't know if there's a.
That's not a good sign right after we talk about ayahuasca.
Someone's ODing outside right now in the streets of Hollywood. Holy shit. What a time.
But ayahuasca is a natural plant, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like manufactured drugs that are frowned upon. It's a natural remedy that's found in Costa Rica, or where do you go to do it?
They have it all around the world. I mean, so it's a brew that they make with tea leaves and barks, depending on the medicine. And the way that it has been best explained to me what it is it's concentrated nature. So like if you imagine how intelligent nature is, like I mean, we're in
plants
nature,
grow-
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
It's in
Nature's the
plants,
best.
everything interwoven
Mother
that
Earth.
works somehow. You know,
Nature's perfect. It's like
perfect, extraordinary. You know, so imagine digesting a concentrated version of the extraordinary.
extraordinary.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
and then allowing that to work through you, and its intention is to help you navigate everything that's within you that's an imperfection.
Have you seen the movie Limitless?
Yeah.
Are there any similarities?
Ayahuasca is so much.
Bradley Cooper is the similarity.
Yeah.
Like, he does it all the time.
He does ayahuasca?
43. No, I don't know.
The similarities. I would say it's different. Limitless is intellectual. It's the mind, right?
Right.
It's me working with my own mind to then create something for myself because I think it should exist. It's very masculine. It's very forcing. Ayahuasca is your mind doesn't exist. Here are all the emotions that you've been suppressing from every one of your lifetimes and also biologically in this lifetime. And no matter what, I got your back, just like the limitless pill to figure out your mind. Limitless, like mental, ayahuasca, emotional, physical, energetic, and also mental.
Okay, so
that makes
everything, the full spectrum of senses.
Yes.
Kinda.
Wow.
Yeah. And then ideally all of that goes into even a subtler experience that's more nuanced where it's just like this vast energy and bliss.
Yeah.
Pretty epic. I've heard, and I can't tell from experience, so this is kind of lame of me to even chime in right here, but I've heard people that have done, I've got friends that have done DMT, they say they all go to the same place and see the same little green aliens. Have you seen these little aliens?
I feel like I've been abducted twice at least.
My homie told me, he's like, these little, you can't only describe it in a certain way, but all these different people are describing the same thing. So it's like, is it an experience or are you going somewhere where these other things are there? You know,
Is that forced perception? Because now if I ever do it, I'm going to be like Spence talked about
no,
the little
because
green aliens.
Interesting.
personally, no, because these people don't know each other. I'm hearing other anecdotes of what they're telling. I'm the the similarity.
Interesting.
You know, so
No, I was watching this. I was watching this clip of Tony Robbins. This just reminded me of this, and he did this little experiment with his guest on the podcast.
Okay.
Look around the room, and tell me if you see any brown color. You do the same. Look around the room. Tell me if you see brown. All right. Now, do you see any red?
yeah, but I'm highly perceptive. I think I saw this thing too, so I was prepping for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the prime can.
And then he says, look around the room and tell me what red you see. And the point is that you see what you're looking for.
100%.
Okay, here I can go.
That's 100%
I can
true.
take us deeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Both of you close your eyes if you feel comfortable to do so. Okay. We'll start with Spence first. Name everything that you remember that's in this room. He's going to be good at this.
Damn, I don't know if I'm going to be that good. I mean, there's an extraordinary sign right there. Shout out Extraordinary, the one and only podcast. I got Teague right here. He's wearing a black shirt. You got this hoodie on, black beanie. We got Teague's girlfriend back here. We got Stro. We got a camera there, camera here. There's some prime cans over here. There's some crafty over there. There's a tripod with a little red ring around it right there. Behind me this way. I mean, I guess I don't know.
Okay, I knew you were going to be incredible at it just because that's who you are. And can you look around and see that there's been, like many, many things that you missed?
For sure. Way more than I missed.
Okay, Teague, he took a while, so we're going to just stay
Yeah,
with this.
I would just add a few things. We got like some extraordinary mugs on the table here. We got some of these sound pads on the wall. Not that those are working right now.
Solid.
With the car alarm. We got. I had some little peanut butter crackers over there. We got some waters.
True, fair.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you can open your eyes and see if there's anything that you didn't
plants.
see.
Totally spaced
Yeah,
on the
way
plants.
more that we didn't see than we did.
Come on.
For sure.
So with that being said, we're only allowing a certain quantity of information into our consciousness at a time.
Good
called
point.
The RAS system. So what's even more fucked up is we had a role and society had a role in conditioning us to perceive that information. So the fact that you named a certain amount of things is because that's what information's even being let into your consciousness that's been pre-programmed by you and also the world, right? And there's many reasons. So then the question is, well, then how do I pre-program myself for success? to perceive the world in an epic way, an iconic way, because anytime that we don't perceive the world, anytime we perceive the world and we disagree with it, then that causes us turmoil and stress. So what is our unique perspective of humanity that allows us to agree with what is and really see what we want to look for and then live that out? You with me?
That's powerful.
Yeah. And so Spence is the king of manifestation. Let's say it. One of the reasons why he's my favorite teacher is because I would watch him in my early 20s. Like I would sit in the corner of our apartment and people would be over. It'd be like all the coolest people, you know, so ridiculous and fun. And I would just watch him and I'm just like seeing this guy throw energy at people. And he's always just like empowering people and like loving them and like, you know, just expressing himself. And like the energy very quickly in the room would magnetize into this epic, beautiful circus of fucking like really creative love. And I would watch him and I'd learn what it meant to like give energy to people and to like be kind to people and to ground in and express yourself. So I've learned tremendously from him. One of my favorite takeaways from Spence, and this is going to sound silly, but to someone that struggled with this concept, it was very meaningful, is I remember I offered him like a basket of mangoes, you know? You probably don't remember this.
I do. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
This was like 10 years ago or whatever. It's such a silly thing to remember. It changed my life. And he looked at the mango and he grabbed the biggest mango you could imagine. Like he's just like, "Gah!" And he's just, and I was like, he fucking grabbed it because he wanted it. He didn't worry about which mango he took, what size of mango, if there's anyone left for anyone else. He's like, he knows that there's mangoes for everybody. He's fucking taking care of himself. He's nourishing himself proudly. And I was like, damn. I was like, it's from that moment on, anytime people offer me food, I'll just be like, wow.
Just
yeah, and like take what I need.
don't overthink it, you know.
The mango,
bro.
But it's his ability to nourish himself and nourish others is what I learned.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I like that.
Yeah, I like to make people feel good, you know, just lift up people, you know, it's important.
So what's like next for you? What's like on the horizon for Bryant?
I'm getting into like more erotic event experiences.
What does that mean?
Like sensual, very expressive. The main goal is to create a spiritual circus where you kind of see like a Cirque du Soleil performance and then someone else comes on stage and then guides the group through like a breathwork or something that emotes them. So when they're emoting in as an audience, they're being put in the same emotional state as the inspiring show, and it creates this transformational thing.
Imagine doing something like that at the Sphere in Vegas.
Pretty cool, yeah.
No, that's the whole plan, and we're gonna do it. It's 100%. Like it's too new, too specific, and people are now dying for experiences that transform them, not on their phones, like in the world. And unfortunately, everybody here is not wasting time. And if we have someone here that's not feeling so good, we'll have their back and we'll empower them and we'll light them up, just like he's done for me many times when my light went out. Mm-hmm. But people don't have that same mentality for other people. And when you create an experience like that, you can really harness the collective awakening, I'm gonna use that word, tremendously because they're in a different emotional state than what they're previously used to, and they're seeing the potential of humanity, and they're recognizing that in themselves.
So, like, you're a breathwork guru. You're an ayahuasca master, and you're also trying to create this spirituality circus, which involves entrepreneurship.
Of course.
What do you feel like you need to do from an entrepreneurial perspective to execute on something like this?
I love that question. So, I've had 3 businesses up until this point. Pretty successful, unfortunately, just like the rest of my life, emotional charge, then the business went kaput. My life has always been an emotional experience, and I have to master myself to get anything done. The stakes are always so high. It's like I do one little thing, I smile wrong, someone gets pissed, I lose, hundreds of thousands of dollars easily. You know what I mean? It's like absurd. I have to be like such a master in reality to get shit done. That being said, moving forward with this, the key partners are everything. I'm human first now. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are. If you treat people badly, I'm not going to work with you, like, period. Like, you have to align with every one of my basic human beliefs of just being a solid, good person for us to embark on this journey.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rule number 1.
Dude, if anybody that's thinking about creating a business or something, don't fall into the illusion of someone knowing more than you or being wealthier than you or pretending like they can open up doors for you, if it's not alignment with your core being, that shit's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
If it is, you're going to create something significant, and also you won't care because you're doing what you love with people that you love to be around.
Exactly. And you're enjoying the journey, which is the majority of it, right?
Yes.
Because even when you get somewhere, you move the bar again and you move the bar. So the whole entire thing is the journey. Yeah. So if you're not going to enjoy it, then why are you doing it?
1,000%. 1,000%.
So team, 100%.
So there's a one character in this that I'm missing, and I think I know who it is. I'm not sure, but it's someone that's able to really do the grounded business stuff, like work with the lawyers.
Right, like a business development.
Create the business plan. And again, I could do that. Is it my highest excitement and what I'm best at? Best at? Absolutely not.
Right, so you need to go find people that complement you.
Yeah.
That can do the things that you can't do, but you can do obviously many things that they can't do.
1,000%.
Yeah, I think you can do them. It's just like when you share a role or a mission with someone else, you can, when we're talking about complimenting, it's like you can excel at which is authentic to you instead of have to like cap that and, do something that you're kind of forced to do,
Key. And how's your, you're literally an artist through and through, bro.
Thanks.
Like every second of every day, you're doing something artistic. You know what I mean? Like, and you should see his room. His house changes every month into a new design of like more fun, playful, and useful. And you're also taking on huge business ventures and dreaming massively and you're setting an intention to affect as many lives as possible for the greatest good. I see you work your ass off also as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So you know how to answer this stuff better than me because you're doing what you love and simultaneously you're accessing that business.
Yeah, I think it's a similar thing. It's like having humility. I think it's really important, and understanding like you don't need to be the best at everything. You just need to align yourself with the best people that work really well together. So similarly, I echo that. It's team. Align yourself with really talented people that are naturally, on the same mission as you.
How are you thinking about team for Sweat Sonic, your workout app?
Yeah, 100%. Well, getting into this, I really had to learn a lot about on the tech side of things, but more so than pretending that I needed to dive in and teach myself everything, I knew I needed to align with the right CTO, that can help on that side of things. So it's for me, it's been more about team building and for making sure that the execution vision is there on my end.
So, where was the inspiration from? Because Sweat Sonic is a unique workout experience to anything else in the world, period. And it's heavily because of your music design background and production background and how did you come up with the inspiration to combine workouts to a beat to enhance that inspiration for people?
Well, it's funny. It's like, picture this. Back in the day, I would train a lot of my friends.
Dude, I was there.
Yeah.
He changed our lives.
Yeah. Training my friends. Imagine like 10 homies, like all together, pushing each other to their limits. We're all to the beat of music. I'm just choreographing like the ab routines and everyone's doing it. And we're just doing it, 15 minutes straight. And I'm just kind of on the fly coming up with stuff. And I'm inspiring the other homies to hit their goals. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like, wait a minute, who's going to push me?
Right.
So as much as I love my friends in so many other aspects, in the gym side and the fitness side, it's like I would also have to push myself, which is one of the hardest things. So I decided that I wanted to come up with a way to replicate that and come up with a virtual trainer that could help me, and then if you can scale that to the world, you can really help everyone. Combining the personal training with the music, it was something that I could just follow along to.
Because I've done your workouts, dude.
Yeah.
You use repetition with music.
Exactly.
And you get insane workouts in like short periods of time. I think
exactly.
We did 20 minutes, 3 body parts, and I was like toasted. Toasted.
Yeah. I think it was actually 15 minutes for our workout.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super short. So at the end of the day, the amount of time under tension is equivalent to something like an hour's long workout.
Yeah.
Because you're not just counting, okay, I'm up to 8 reps. I'm doing reps, but some of the reps are 4 seconds each,
right.
8 seconds each. And then a constantly varying cadence with what you're doing. It's like, wait a minute, I'm working my
it was
fast
almost
twitch. I'm working my
muscle
slow twitch.
exhaustion too.
Exactly.
I had a dance teacher like 6 months ago, and it made me think about you. She goes, "Hey, listen, you're finding the beat, but no, every time you hit the beat, it builds confidence." And she's like, every time you hit the beat, so even if you fuck up, you don't hit the beat, all good. But when you do hit it, it'll build confidence. And your goal here is to continuously build confidence. So I'm doing your workouts. I'm like fully on beat working out. And I feel so confident. And it's like, it's 1,000 times easier than if I was just doing it to some random song by myself.
Exactly. You get into your flow state. For me, that's
Exactly.
why it helps me. It's like, I'm not thinking about a number. I'm just thinking about going till I can't.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, it's uniquely motivating, which is something that I haven't found before. So it's been able to help me and the close homies.
5, 6, savage.
Yeah. It's amazing. Wait,
Anyway,
so I want to go back to spirituality, meditation, breath work. Before that, though, you were a bodybuilder and a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's done everything. Right?
Talk about extraordinary. Wait,
Yeah.
is it extraordinary or extraordinary?
Oh, wow. Is this going to be something everyone's asked?
I don't know. I want to know what you think.
The way that I was told that pronunciation from the person that when they said it to me, it affected my life the most, okay, was extraordinary. So based off of that person, the way he used it in that moment and how it changed my life, I give him credit for that, and that's the
Who is that?
pronunciation. My Uber driver.
Epic.
Uber driver.
I spent the night before crying by myself in my room, like for hours, because I was processing something with my family. I think getting the Uber the next day, and I'm like, getting to this business meeting at Catch, LA, and not thinking. I tell the Uber driver, I'm like, yeah, take me there, and he goes, "How are you?" I was like, "I'm good, thanks." Then he asked me a question. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going through this. I just really need to get there." And he's like, "Take a moment." He goes, "Breathe into your heart." And I'm like a sucker for meaningful moments with strangers that tell me to do something better than what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, you care about me. Thank you, God. Like, finally someone asked me how I'm doing, So I'm breathing into my heart, and he's like, hey, you're not just, I'm like really there, and I'm listening now very intently. And he goes, you're not going, for good. You're not going for great. You're going for the extraordinary. Stay in your heart.
Wow.
I was like,
that's some powerful shit, dude.
Didn't get anything done at the business meeting because I was so compassionate, but whatever.
Yeah. Meant to be. Yeah.
So
Special.
You were a wrestler and a bodybuilder. Is that like
Savage wrestler.
yeah?
D1, like
D1
very
at college?
competitive.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon College, I read?
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. My main goal with wrestling was get a full ride to be able to pay for my school because there's no other way to get into school.
Sick. So you did that?
I did that. That was the goal, reached it. And then in my senior year of college, I remember I had this random man's like, hey, can I take photos of you? And I was like, sure, bro. Like, if you want. Like, I was like,
A little weird, but cool.
yeah, no, now looking back, bro,
And then that
totally.
turned you into a model?
It turned me into for 2 years, fully supported myself modeling
No
in
way.
my underwear.
No way.
Oh, it was extremely homoerotic. Like, I don't even know. Like,
You got to see pictures of
It's
it.
great.
How have we not gotten to this point?
because I don't
in
tell anybody
in
this story.
episode yet.
We don't talk about it much. We just be like, that's old Brian. New Brian. But there was a point in my career where there was a 3-story banner of me from top to bottom of just me in a jockstrap like this.
No.
Yeah. It was
gotta
crazy.
Were
see
you
pictures of him
like
like
this.
signed to an agency and stuff, or like?
I mean, listen, I'm sure they would have guided me to do different jobs if I was. I was
Yeah.
solo doing it.
Yeah.
Just solo Bryant underwear model?
Yeah. It was so anyways, that
You
really,
know we're gonna show the picture of
that's why I said it. We need to reclaim that.
We need to pull it up.
We need to
Yeah.
reclaim that. We need to
Yeah,
reclaim that's terrible.
that'll get cut into the episode.
Take a look at this ripped picture of Bryant Wood.
No,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. I'll send it to you just to lean into it myself. And just so
Okay,
you
good,
guys
good.
know, actually, I don't know if I can say how much I got paid for that campaign.
Yeah, you can.
Can I?
Yeah,
Can
of
I?
course.
I got paid $500, and that was used everywhere.
Dude.
Everywhere. 20 years
messed
old,
up.
$500. I think they poured milk on me at one point.
Taking advantage of, bro.
Yeah, bro.
This reminded me of scenes from like Zoolander almost.
Exactly. Yeah.
Pour milk on your like,
But regardless, the modeling industry really propelled me into my spirituality.
Okay.
Because the LGBTQAI plus community took me under their wing and they taught me how to love other people.
Okay.
They taught me how to be expressed. They taught me how to be free. And if I was wrestling or doing anything else other than that, I would have been just, I think, more miserable than I was.
Interesting.
Anyway, so that led into a modeling career, which I'm happy to talk about. We also don't have to.
Well, what I also actually want to know is I read that you're a triplet.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Sometimes I forget that.
I know.
Until I'm hanging out with your brothers. Imagine. Shout out to Bryant's mom.
Yeah.
Let's
dude.
go.
Yeah, shout out
5'2".
She popped out 3 at the same time.
Yeah.
That's even bigger props. We were
incredible.
talking about moms before.
Yeah.
Triplets, dude.
9 months with 3 dudes. That's wild.
I know. We're rowdy too.
Yeah.
Are
Rowdy
you?
boy.
only reason
What are
I-
your brothers like? What?
The only reason I got pulled out first is because their butts were in my face and I was suffocating.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the story.
Gotta
Yeah.
get them out.
Yeah, bro. What are my brothers like?
Yeah, what's it like growing up as a triplet? Were you guys competitive? Were they wrestlers, bodybuilders?
We ended up actually all bodybuilding, which was fascinating, and everyone won the same show back to back each year.
No way.
Yeah, so we're like notorious in
The
our
Wood
hometown.
brothers.
What's the hometown in NorCal?
Chico.
Chico. Okay, I know Chico. Yep.
Yeah,
Cool,
and
cool.
shout out, we got Sean too. We don't miss the other brother over here.
Yeah, my brother Sean.
Surgeon.
Let's go.
He's literally putting on people's thumbs.
Orthopedic surgeon, board certified.
We try to shout him out every chance we get because we're so proud of him.
Let's go.
For real.
Right, next time your mom needs a hip.
Yeah, bro. I
my
know.
next
Just
guy.
got a hip
crazy.
replacement.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's it.
So with my brothers, we've also evolved tremendously from children until our adulthood. Now there's no deeper connection. There's not a more fearless love. I would do absolutely anything for them and vice versa. So we fought to get there. We had to really face our shit to be able to get to that point. Because as a triplet, especially with strong dynamics and people that are really caring for each other, the emotions are just nuts and it's just an unsafe environment, to be honest. So needless to say, a lot of chaos in my early years. We don't have to go too much into that. But and my brothers, because I had the better coaches, because I was seen as the more athletic one or the more outgoing one, I was kind of like propelled into extreme versions of athleticism or communication or even sexuality, where I was like, getting chicks, right? Because it was the most extreme version of what I could be doing because I got propelled into that when you're competing and also trying to be seen by your family because you are a triplet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And also,
You're always competing.
So just for reference, his other 2 brothers are identical, and he is the one that is not identical.
Oh, really?
Think about how wild that is.
Yeah.
When we were born, they were together in the same egg. I was by myself.
Yep. The odd man out. You had a lot to prove.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
That is wild.
they bullied me for my
That has to
first
be
years.
rare, too.
I think it's the most normal form of triplets, but
So 2 are identical and 1 is fraternal,
I'm the fraternal one, yeah.
but that's normal for triplets.
I believe so,
But
yes.
also, you're the rare one out of you guys.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's like,
Or is it the twins within the triplets that are
the rare.
oddity? Because there's only one.
it just depends how you look at it.
Yeah, who knows?
It's wild.
But regardless, there's stuff there. And the cool thing with this is I moved out at 15 years old. They started working out. They started
But you moved out of your house?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's a weird story too.
Yeah, that's early, bro.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know what's weird anymore because I've just had such a, I haven't really done anything
But
other
like,
than...
what'd you do in Arizona when you moved out at 15 years
I moved in with my uncle for a year, and then I moved in with my... he's not coaching anymore, so now we're safe to talk about it. This is the first time I've ever saying this, but I live with my wrestling coach,
Okay.
which is so illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't know.
But wrestling was big. You were trying to get your college scholarly. So you're
Dude, it was a full-on
fully-
Karate Kid vibe. He'd wake me
fully
up at 5
dedicated.
a.m., make me fight his dog. He would bring in... yeah, I'm serious. He'd bring in 3... it's fucked up, kind of. Bring in 3 football players from high school to push me out, and have to run a mile, then have to fight the other guy, run a mile, fight the other guy. It's just...
That's why he's D1.
It was
All
cool.
right.
It was
Yeah.
cool.
You don't
still
get
follow
there.
He
wrestling
cared
at all?
so much, man. It was the most extraordinary person I've ever met, to be
Wow.
honest.
Do you still follow wrestling at all?
I do now. I didn't for 5 years.
Do you know who this kid AJ Ferrari is? Mr. Fast Twitch. He's a wrestler at Iowa, but he's like, I don't know. He's pretty savage. He's like lifting huge weights. He's like, I don't know. I just thought, I don't know, random kind of thought, but.
No, yeah, I'm sure I've seen videos or something like that. I honestly, I hated wrestling from start to finish, and now I love it.
Yeah.
It took me 10 years to process my relationship with it, just for another time.
What weight class would you wrestle in?
141s all the way up to 65s.
Competitive.
Yeah.
Very competitive.
Oh yeah, as a competitor.
Super competitive.
Move out at 15. I come back 2 years later. My triplet brothers put on 20 pounds of muscle each in 2 years.
So they stayed. They didn't move out.
Yeah, they stayed.
Okay, so you moved back and they're fucking
Jacked.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck?
happened?
I was like,
Mom, what you've been feeding
yeah.
my
I was like, this is
brothers.
nuts. 20 pounds is a lot of muscle.
That's
Yeah.
massive. Even in a year, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's almost 2
And
pounds
they were
a
were
month.
Wait, they were wrestling too?
No.
Oh, okay. They were just bodybuilding.
They were just bodybuilding. They
Okay.
made it full-time bodybuilding. So every day they would hit it. But as soon as I left, they started like getting into their own, making friends, like doing their thing. So like I always am grateful that I left, even though it was pretty difficult, because they came into their own men and they turned out to be such extraordinary
Yeah.
individuals.
So you guys are all close now, right?
Best friends,
Yeah.
do anything for each other.
Epic.
Like,
Yeah.
you know
Love
how
it.
it is when you
Yeah.
have good brother connection. It's like,
Yeah, for
yeah.
Siblings are everything, dude. I read this thing that like your parents aren't there long enough and like your kids are young, are young. So like
So they're
your
late.
siblings
Yeah.
are
Along
there
for the
your
ride.
whole life, dude.
Wow.
Whole life.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Blessed.
Actually, my sister and I was like, hey, listen, Mary, it's so awesome to do these things with you because it's my little sister. I was like, because I get to know you throughout my whole life, during our deathbed, we can reflect on all the cool shit we've done. And you're like
Yeah.
one of the only people I have that with.
Exactly. I just got a lot closer with my brother. We live together now in Austin.
Why were
know
you
my brother,
Why were you
Riley.
not close? What's going on with that?
We were very different people growing up. I would say he was a little bit more introverted. I was a little bit more extroverted. And I went to USC. So we grew up in Fort Lauderdale, went to high school with Spence. And then I went to USC. He went to UCLA. So like we were in the same town, but like he wanted to do something different. And then my brother is like, he's almost like Forrest Gump. He was a national champion pole vaulter in high school. But I don't know. We just went separate ways for 10 years, and then we both ended up in Austin. Now we live together, and now we're a lot closer. It's a good feeling.
Great feeling.
Yeah.
It's important. We'll get him on the podcast now.
For sure.
Yeah, probably.
So can I share the thing that I haven't shared yet?
Yes,
that
please.
I've saved for this podcast. It goes with wrestling. So I just got back from the doctors a week ago. I couldn't get out of bed for like a couple days, and I was like, damn, my back's getting bad. Like it's always been bad, but like now it's getting to a point where I can't really move that well. That's why I got so good at breath work, to like relieve the pain. So I get the x-ray back and the SCAT scan and the MRI. And they go, hey, you got a broken neck.
No
What?
fucking
Yeah.
way.
No.
Yeah, and you've had a broken neck for a long time. People that are alive, I don't see people that are alive still that have this. And I was like, fuck. And then also my lower back, like 2 discs need to be replaced. They're black.
Dude, wait, what does
from
that
wrestling.
mean? You have a broken neck?
So it sounds like,
Because usually that
fracture-
would mean like paralyzed.
yeah. It broke one side of it. So there's like
A chip in the.
Yeah.
No, fully snapped. Yeah, fully snapped. I was like, oh, it's just a fracture. Like,
Steven Seagal shit.
Exactly, Steven Seagal. Yeah, totally. Who did that?
Coming to you. That's crazy.
I have actually an idea of when it happened. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, when I was like 10 years old. So anyways, I've been dealing with this my entire life. And I finally get the x-ray. 'Cause I'm like, I finally talked about my back for the first time to someone. They're like, yo, you gotta get checked out. Like, it's weird that you've been dealing with this for so long. Find out it's a broken neck. Then I'm like, okay, I gotta get surgery, but let me exhaust all options to figure this out. And
To
I
try to not have surgery?
to try to not have surgery,
Right,
which
yeah,
is, again,
of course,
I'm not
Yeah. If you
not
wanna
saying
go
don't
the
get
natural
surgery.
route. if
Yeah,
you
I'm not saying
can.
also not to get surgery if you're supposed
Right,
to. Like,
right.
fully support that as
Right.
well. So I'm watching this YouTube video, and Spencer's gonna love this. And there's this like really, and I'm non-judgmental, but there's like a ego part of me because this guy achieved something that I hadn't. So that's where this is coming from. But like, this is a dweeby fucking guy. I was like, this is so dweeby. And then I'm listening to him talk, and he goes, yeah, I was paralyzed. And, I just breathed in cosmic energy through my crown and completely healed myself. And he can prove it. And I was like, if this guy,
this dweeb can do it.
it's so much ego, you know. So, but I needed it to have inspiration to even move, right? Because I was so fucking
Hope this
dead.
dweeb could teach me.
Exactly.
Really? Can I get this dweeb's phone number?
But it was my way of convincing. It was my way of convincing myself that I could do it too. You know,
Right.
even though it's like
For sure,
that's
it's important.
So I spent the last 3 days after that doing this practice of getting my breath to a place where I'm fully connected to my body, and then I'm slowly expanding my physical body and my energy and my awareness in the room, all the way up, all the way down, and then I'm breathing into my cells, my joints, and my skin, like universal love. And then I'm realizing, wow, the only person that's never supported myself is me. And I'm breathing in and sending emotions to my back, when in the whole time for the last 15 years, I've just been judging it and thinking I'm like a piece of shit because it doesn't work right.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because I'm so hard on myself. For the first time in 15 years, I'm breathing in, adding emotions, expanding into light. And then I get up and I'm like, oh, I'm chilling. I was like, I probably don't even have a broken neck anymore. I'm probably fine. Immediately fixed. Granted, do I still probably need surgery? 100%.
Yeah.
But not being
But it
able to get
feels
to
a lot
bed,
better.
tremendously, 3,000% better.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, the stuff that's been with us the longest is the hardest to heal.
Yeah.
Because it's so personal.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been going through. Wanted to share it.
Epic.
Appreciate that, man. That's
But
sweet.
he's so, you should explain your, why that I have him. Like, I always like to just ask him questions too. I know I'm being interviewed here. But can you give us your perspective on manifestation? Your mindset is just extraordinary. Your energy's godlike. How do
I
you do it?
typically don't like to force anything on other people that I don't completely understand. But what I can say is my experiences, anecdotally. And, talking about the law of attraction, hands down, universally, the most successful people that I know in my life, whether it's, on a mentorship level, my mentors, or, some of my friends that are killing it, or other people that I know in passing that have been really successful, they all believe in the law of attraction. They all believe in manifesting. So it's like, for someone to just have a negative mindset about something that they don't understand just because they don't understand it.
I don't know if I gotta call you out. I've seen this dude on top of a mountain with his arms outstretched, giving gratitude to life.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This guy?
Oh yeah, consistently.
Well, yeah, I do that all the time.
What mountain?
Any mountain.
Why? Okay, so then why do you do that?
Well, one, I think it's always good to be grateful, no matter where you're at in life, because the alternative is terrible. And it's another way, just like breath work, to immediately feel better. You are, we're praying to God, but your consciousness is the God of your cells and your body. It's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to feed it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go run. I'm going to make it feel better. And another way to treat yourself in an incredible way is actually actively practicing gratitude. It's immediately feeling better. So having that mindset is an important thing to do. You got to remind yourself to do that. So that's one of the reasons why I do.
So here's the thing though. Remember, I see every day I'm having weird experiences with people that are trying to figure this stuff out, right?
Yeah.
Your gratitude's different than other people's gratitude. It is.
Okay.
It's very extreme. It's very big. It's very grateful. Okay. How did you practice and it got bigger and bigger?
Yeah, you get better at things that you practice, just like you were talking about awareness before. Like you could say, it's like if you're in a dark room, turn on a flashlight, you could point it somewhere. That's just like your awareness, and it gets better and better the more you practice it. The more you practice anything, you get better at it. And practicing gratitude is something that you just have to do if you want to get better at it. And it's a powerful thing. I think everyone should be doing it. So
it's so impactful. It changes everybody when you're around it, when you do it. It just goes, I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
It goes in.
For sure.
So great. He's just God, and it's like, whoa, dude, you're on it.
100%. I like to, something I like to do is, it's like you take an emotion, something that makes you feel good. And I don't know, it might not really seem really easy to do, or you might not understand it unless you actually do it and practice it. But like you can close your eyes, and then let's say you picture, an adorable baby that's smiling. And like, wait a minute, I think about that, and it makes you feel a certain way. Maybe you feel like, oh, that's adorable. And what is happening? Well, I'm actually feeling better because of that. So you can do that actively with other things that make you feel good. And then you could take that feeling and exaggerate that. You know, what's one thing that you're grateful for, right? Whether it's like an experience that you had with your mom, right? Or the fact that your mom had a great surgery the other day, she healed in a week. And it's like, wait a minute, if I think how that makes me feel, I feel grateful that that went well. You know, I feel grateful that I've got some really good friends in my life and experience a certain thing. And then you got to actively take that feeling and then you exaggerate that, blow it up and intensify that. And then to the point where it's like, wait a minute, I'm bursting with this gratitude, you know? And then just try and incorporate that in your daily practice. And then you'll notice over time,
So good.
It'll get stronger. You'll be able to do that. Your flashlight that you're pointing in a dark room gets sharper and sharper, and you're able to put it anywhere you want.
Got you,
know?
because your awareness is focused on more beautiful things.
Exactly.
So one of my, again, favorite moments with you is, and Teague, I'd love to share it, and I'm not going to name any names, but our Stro as well, Spence and I's friend, her brother has a brain tumor. And she found out, she happened to have been at Stroh's and I's place at the time. Spence was there. And, you know, we all took time aside to kind of get around her, put our arms on her and pray for a little bit. And what Spence chose to say was, let's just all give gratitude for the healing of her brother. Let's just be grateful that it's happened, it exists, we're experiencing it. Just give so much gratitude for how healed he is right now. Yeah. And it was just like change the vibration in all of us, instead of just like kind of worrying if it was going to work out, turned into just complete certainty, and we aligned our emotions to really perceive the best outcome. And that was really impactful to be a part of.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah. I remember that. It's important.
Well, dude, college D1 wrestler, supermodel, with a 3-story high billboard in your underwear.
It's, you guys are gonna laugh. I can't
Triplet.
I can't wait to
Talking
see
of the
that.
threes.
A triplet.
Yeah.
A spiritual leader who's trained over 100,000 people.
Incredible.
You're unique, dude. You're extraordinary.
Absolutely extraordinary.
I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
We got to have you back.
And I was thinking in a year.
Yeah.
See what happens with all of us.
Yeah, this is
the first.
This is episode number 3. This is the first day.
Yeah.
First episode.
Yeah,
3.
first day.
Episode 3.
Bless.
Yeah.
Bless.
For the triplet.
I know.
So hopefully, I think we'll make it a year.
For sure.
This is
Hands down.
We got a good concept here. We got a good premise.
I think we got to commit to 2 years.
At least.
we
Oh,
have
do
to
it
commit
right
to 2
now.
years. Yeah.
Commit
Yeah.
right now on this podcast.
I'll commit to 2 years
I'll commit
right
to
now.
2 years. We got
Okay,
to.
done.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
Yeah. We got to wrap
Brian,
it.
you're an extraordinary dude, bro. I appreciate you coming on.
My guy Teague, pleasure to meet you, man.
Thank
So glad
you,
you're
sir.
partnered up
Love
with
you,
my
brother.
boy.
Yes.
Love you, brother.